Hi guys, welcome to a really exciting series here at The Humble Penny. We're calling it, what we're calling it?
How Much Do They Make series.
Yeah, this is going to be really exciting where we're going to explore speaking to various amazing people from different careers about how much they actually make. And we're going to really dig down and kind of just understand where their income comes from, what their money habits are and things like that, and what they actually spend all that money on. So we hope you really enjoy this very new series here on The Humble Penny. So today's guest is someone absolutely amazing, a friend we've made in the last year, an incredible young lady called Vanessa Kanbi. You might know her if you've come across her channel here on YouTube called Vanessa Kanbi. If you've not heard of it, come on, you've got to check it out. Head over, like, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yes.
But Vanessa's become a friend of ours and we thought we'd welcome her on this very first piece of the series, just to kind of get into how much does someone who's a filmmaker / YouTuber or whatever you want to call it, how much do they actually make? It'd be good to really just dive into that on this very first of the series.
That's right. Welcome, Vanessa Kanbi.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I absolutely love your channel, so I really appreciate, being on it myself.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Now, we're really excited to have you on this one, Vanessa. So do you want to just start by telling people, a bit about yourself and what you do and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, sure. So I have a YouTube channel which primarily focuses on Ghana. So I show luxury house tours, houses made out of natural materials. So I do a bit of real estate, but I also just show, the amazing sides of Africa, primarily Ghana, places you can go and visit, you can go and eat, where you can go and stay, sort of like a touristy side. But then I also interview people that are living in Ghana that have moved from the diaspora back, because there's a lot of people interested in doing that, and hopefully I will be doing that myself. So, we're just exploring that sort of thing on my channel.
How did you actually get into being a filmmaker or even exploring the YouTube platform?
So I have two kids. I've got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I never wanted to be like a stay-at-home mum. It was never in my plan. I had my son when I was 20 and I was at uni and I was modelling at the same time when I had him. So I'm definitely not somebody that likes sitting still. And then when I had my daughter, I had moved back to Edinburgh. I was living in London beforehand, and I literally didn't really know what I felt like. I was kind of losing my mind because I was at home with her and I didn't really have a focus for myself, and so I was just like losing myself. So I was like, what can I do from home and she can be here? And then I came across let me actually start a YouTube channel, because I've always loved documentaries, watching other people's stories, watching so much content on YouTube. And then I thought, let me just start it myself. And that's how I actually started making more family focused content, natural birth, that sort of content, because that's what was going on in my life at the time. And I was at home all the time. And then it kind of evolved into something else.
Wow, so we've seen, we're just talking about how many subscribers has Vanessa got now, roughly?
Over 90,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
right?
thereabouts. And you've blown up, literally, your channel has blown up in the last year. Literally, you've gone from 10,000 subscribers to about 90,000 subscribers, and which is huge on the YouTube platform. Many people wish they were at that level. Be interesting to know, what do you think helps you to become a success, as doing what you do? What if you had to boil it down to 3 things that have made you a success today on that platform, what would they be, do you think?
So the first one would definitely be finding a niche that people are interested in and sticking to it, not just doing oh, this week I'm going to talk about, this is what I was doing before. This week I'm going to talk about natural birth. Next week I'm going to go to Disneyland and film a video. It was just a bit kind of all over the place. Whereas now I'm very focused in Ghana and sort of West Africa, and then Africa as a whole. That is my vision and that is what I'm doing. It's mainly Ghana though. And the second thing is consistency. So I'm very consistent. I realized when I went from kind of uploading here and there to uploading 3 times a week on the same day at the same time, that is when I really saw, such an increase in viewers and subscribers. And then the third thing, I guess it would be finding interesting content and making sure that each video is providing value to other people and it's not just about yourself. I guess before, when I was making vlogs about me going to Disneyland and stuff, there's so many people going to Disneyland and filming that it's kind of like, what is somebody really gaining apart from seeing like a family video? Whereas now I'm very focused on like, what value can I provide to somebody? Like if somebody's looking to move to Ghana, you know, like, can I interview a lawyer who works in immigration that's going to help them? Things that like nobody's really doing that. And so it's actually really interesting for people.
Yeah.
Wow. So that leads us to the next question. What do you love most, Vanessa, about what you do?
What I love most about, you know, being a content creator, creating on YouTube, is that everything's in my hands. Like I make the decisions. I can film whatever I want, edit it however I want, and put it up whenever I want. And I'm in control of what happens. Whereas if I've edited actually at different companies, like huge organizations, and you're editing what somebody else wants you to edit, you know, like you've got somebody's telling you what to do and what not to do. And I've never worked well. I've never really worked for anyone for like a long period of time. I've always wanted to work for myself. So it's not something I've ever done before. Even when I was modeling, I did that for 10 years. I was working for myself. But again, that was different because, you know, people would hire me to model for their brand. So it's not really my thing. Although I was in control of what I was doing, it was never my vision that I was really doing.
Right. Wow, that's really powerful.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
idea of what your own vision was. Because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, actually, when we think about doing their own thing.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know, just from you, did you ever fear putting yourself out there? Or did it come to you easily because you'd done some modeling, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, going in front of the camera does not faze me at all. Some people that I know are like, oh, how can you do that? And like, you know, do you get nervous and stuff? I'm like, absolutely not. I think I was modeling ever since I was like 12 years old. So I guess I kind of grew up being in front of the camera and it never ever fazed me. I'm also very self-assured. I don't know, like I'm very comfortable in myself. So I think that like it doesn't really bother me. Like, but I would say now that my channel's growing and stuff, I am much more conscious of, you know, like putting my kids out there, for example, because I'm like, they've not actually chosen to be out there. Like, is it really my place to be putting things of them up? And even my husband, I've always been very conscious of, you know, where I live, not filming outside of my house, like not disclosing like private things.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, we're on the same page for that.
100%. So, did you study journalism? And do you think, does that help you at all now in the filmmaking role that you play where you're interviewing people? And
So I studied criminal justice, actually. Something completely...
I don't know where
Totally different.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And I studied that because basically it was about, the price was going to go from 3,000 to 9,000 per year, you know, when it changed. And I was like, if I don't go now, I'm never going.
Smart move.
Yeah.
And it was just something I was really, really interested in. And I knew that I would never really use that. But I think what going to university did teach me is sticking to something and following it through. And obviously, like, I gained information about the subject, but that doesn't exactly like transfer into what I'm doing now.
So, what do you find to be the most challenging aspect of what you do today?
So I'd say right now, I don't normally struggle for motivation, but right now, being at home all the time and trying to find the motivation, that is pretty tough. And I can even sit at my desk and I'm finding 100 other things to be doing at my desk.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it, right?
We're on the same page, 100%.
Yeah, and it's just a focus. You have to be so disciplined.
Yeah.
So we found that just having 3 things that we're working on in a day just really helps.
Yeah, so we started
focus.
doing that. We've got a diary and we just write what's our daily big 3.
Yeah.
She has hers, I have my daily big 3, and that's all we focus on for the whole day.
That's a really good idea because I think I've probably got too much on my to-do list that it's overwhelming.
it's really interesting to hear that. And I think this next question really is, I think it's the one that many people would definitely want to know about. So people are curious about creating content and so on. So for someone in your position who's been doing this now for, a few years, but only really blew up massively in the last year, how much income, give us an idea. This is, let's get a bit excited about this. How much income do you generate from being a content creator, and from what different sources do the income streams come from?
So last month was like my best month so far, and I made £7,500, and that was from ads. So Google AdSense, which is Google AdSense is obviously, money you make from Google. If anyone doesn't know, when you upload a YouTube video at the start, you see an advert, and then you get basically 0 point something of that, and then it builds up.
Hang on. Vanessa, sorry, we've got to rewind that for a sec. Hang on. You just said that so casually.
I know, right?
7,500 is more than a lot of city lawyers, bankers, accountants, and people like that make in a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Seriously. So that's a ton of money.
But do you know what? For me, because I watch other YouTubers talking about how much they make, it's actually not that much in comparison. Like, I just watched, for example, Patricia Bright just started a new channel about like money and stuff, and she just disclosed how much she made in a year, and like that doesn't even touch what she makes in a month on that second channel.
It's funny you speak about Patricia Bright. We watched a video of hers, that very video you mentioned. I saw it recommended to me. I don't know if she watches our channel, but it'd be interesting to know. But we saw, if you do watch our channel, Patricia, hello. Give us a shout. Anyway, we saw the video come up, and I watched it, and I was like, whoa. So it's really interesting you say that.
Yeah, sorry. So I didn't. So one stream of income is Google AdSense. Another one is sponsorships and advertisements. So that is, if anybody doesn't know either, that is when somebody pays you to speak about their product in your video. And I also do that on Instagram as well. So last month I did 3 adverts on my Instagram. And did I do any? Yeah, actually, I did one on my YouTube channel as well. And then the other streams, I do other things as well. So they're not included actually in that money, but I do radio. I do, sorry, one sec. I'm a contributor on BBC Radio Scotland. So every now and then I'll talk on this thing called Bad Parents Club. And then I also am on STV Talking Heeds. That's just discussing topical issues. I also, what else do I do?
Wow, I love that she can't keep up.
I know, right? You're just going, it's just rolling like one after the other.
This is exactly why we wanted to interview you, because we know there's so much potential in what you're doing, and we're going to ask you the next question in a minute, but it's just so interesting just to hear you. So far we've had Google Ads, sponsorships,
basically a contributor on TV and radio.
TV contributor and radio. You get sponsorships across different platforms, whether it's IG as well as YouTube. And I'm sure there's probably something else you haven't mentioned.
I'm about to actually be a presenter on a BBC Sounds podcast. So that's going to be another stream, of income for me as well. So I feel like it is very diversified.
The thing I wanted to ask you as well is in terms of time, roughly how much time do you think you put in on a good week into your various bits of work?
That is something that I've never actually thought of. I feel like I work pretty much all the time. And it might not always be sitting down and editing, but it might be watching, trying to educate myself more to further what I'm doing. For example, this morning when I was making my kids breakfast, I was watching a video from Sean Cannell, one of my favourite channels called Think Media, on how to make my processes easier. I'll be watching that for 30 minutes when I'm making the kids breakfast, and then I'll be going on doing something else. So I do think that I must work. And the other thing is sometimes when my husband has the kids, and like before COVID or whatever, he would take them to his parents' house for a night so that I could work. And I will literally work from the minute he leaves, if he left in the morning, and I would sleep a minimal amount and then wake up and work until he comes back. And that would be like, you know.
You're a true hustler.
But the thing is
I love it though.
Exactly, I was going to say, I get the sense that you love what you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Like, I am actually obsessed. I don't understand, you know, people that do things that they don't want to do, you know, jobs and stuff like that. I don't get it. I'm just like, why don't you just give it a shot what you do want to do? Because the amount of time that you spend working is so much of your life.
Exactly.
That it should be something you're passionate about.
I know.
Exactly.
It's almost half of your day, every day, is spent working for somebody else or working for yourself if you're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
So where possible, try and, if you can, do what you actually love doing.
Yes.
It took me a long time personally to actually like really focus on that, right?
Yeah,
But,
it did. You were ingrained in the city.
yeah, I was
but you've come out-
proper in the matrix. I was proper in the system.
You
In
unplugged.
the system.
Wow. So, what's the maximum potential income for somebody who is a YouTuber or a filmmaker like yourself?
So I've seen again like these videos of YouTubers talking about how much they make, and I personally know somebody and I've personally seen their AdSense, which is $30,000 a month, and that's
Right.
just AdSense. On top of that, they do sponsorships of probably 10,000 a week. So that's like what, like 50, 60 grand.
So 10 grand a week, 40 grand a month, plus the 30 grand from the thing, that's 70 grand thereabouts.
Yeah, people are making that on YouTube.
Wow.
Hang on, are these people in the UK out of interest, or are they kind of in America or somewhere?
I mean, the people that I know are global, but I know there's people in the UK making that. I mean, I'm sure you guys know that.
Yeah, no, we know. But it's quite diverse in terms of where they make their money from.
Not necessarily YouTube.
Not necessarily just YouTube. They more use YouTube more as a marketing channel. But yeah, no, it's very interesting to hear you say that in terms of potential.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next question, actually. I was going to ask you, you know, obviously you're going to try and increase your income over time. Who wouldn't? You know, why wouldn't you? You know, because you're just creating the content, and the beauty of YouTube is that the more subscribers you get and the more viewers you get, the more income you get over time. So what do you think you're going to do to raise your income over time, Vanessa? What kind of things might you...
There's things that I haven't tapped into yet that I know is a big part of other YouTubers' income, like affiliate marketing, affiliate linking. So, you know, putting a link in the description, when people click that, then you get a percentage of the sale. That's not something I've really done. So that's one thing that I definitely want to be doing. Potentially making some sort of product, potentially like a PDF product. I've got a few ideas for those. I know a lot of people make money through that way, and then an actual physical product potentially. But what's been holding me back from that is finding the right product, because I'm not really into fast fashion or anything like that. So making merch for the sake of making merch doesn't really sit well with me. So it's figuring out what the right thing is. And then another thing I'm going to do is definitely start a business to serve my subscribers and their needs. And that hopefully, because I think it's so important to, as well as having like an online presence, to have an offline presence. Because what if, like, I'm not saying let's, do you know what? I don't even want to say it, but you never know.
I know, don't say it.
you never know. And I think this last year...
You just never know,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's true.
Last year, 2020, showed us what we're not in control of. And I'm not in control of YouTube, you know? So I need to make sure that I've got something offline. And then I guess that's also why I do things that are not just YouTube as well, like the podcast and, you know, TV and radio, because that is completely separate again and doesn't really have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, which leads us to the next question. What top 3 pieces of advice would you give to somebody who wants to embark in career in YouTube or filmmaking, for example?
And they want to make the sort of money you're hitting, Vanessa.
Yeah,
they want to be
your
smashing
type of
it.
income.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that it takes a long time, and you have to be passionate, like as passionate as I am, because I that's how much I made last month, but that is just how much I made last month. You know, like it's taken me 4 years to get to that place, and there was 3 years of not making any money. And investing money in that time. You know, I had to buy cameras, I had to buy like things like that. So you just have to be persistent and never stop. I've once saw this picture, and it's of like an iceberg, and it's like, you know, you only see the tip of the iceberg once the person's making money and stuff, not when they're like talking to nobody.
You've put time in, you've put money into equipment, you've put a lot of time into researching and learning stuff. So it's not just, you're not just showing, it's not that you've just hit it big.
Yeah.
You've been sowing the seeds for years.
Lots of dedication. Yeah.
Definitely. So the first thing I would say is be committed from the start and keep going, even though it might seem like it's never happening. And you might see other people around you just explode. But I honestly think that it's good to grow at a steady rate, to be honest. And then the other point would be to apply for things. So there's things out there that you can apply for grants or for training. So I did this training course in, was it 2019, for the TV festival in Edinburgh, and it was called The Network. And in that you got to go like behind the scenes to the TV festival, and we had like talks from Louis Theroux, who's like my absolute idol, by the way, and like the top people at TV and everything like that. Like money can't buy, do you know what I mean, experience, and that's free. And the only reason why I got to do that is because I applied for it. So it's seeking out these opportunities that are out there for people that people potentially just don't know are out there.
We've got examples of that. Yeah.
And then the third point would be to make quality content. Like, do you know what? You can make quality on your phone. The phone cameras are really great, but just make sure you're well lit. And that doesn't mean necessarily like having a expensive light. Just get a lamp and just shine it at your face, or, you know, make sure that things are well lit and you're doing what you can with what you've got. Just basically make good content. There's not much of an excuse not to.
Yeah.
By the way, I was going to say, because the people watching might not know this, but because it's gone live, we can talk about it very briefly. You talked about grants and applying for things. So Vanessa and us, part of the cohort for, Vanessa, do you want to say it?
Yeah, for, oh my gosh, what is the title?
The
YouTube Black.
Yeah, the YouTube Black Voices fund for YouTube. So we're on the same cohort for 2021. The class of 2021, we're in the same group. So again, like none of this would have happened had we not seen the email or like someone told us about it. And we're like, oh, I think we should apply for that.
Yeah.
And we applied. Like we talked about this offline, Vanessa.
Yeah. Knock on those doors.
Yeah, had we not done that, knocked on the doors and persisted and filled those forms in, those frustrating forms, had we not done those things we needed to do, we wouldn't be here together, kind of doing, kind of being on this inaugural class together of 2021. So
yeah, so exciting. I'm so happy. I was showing my son the video, and honestly, like tears were falling down my face, because I just thought, like, like I can show my child, I feel like I can get emotional right now. I can show my child that you can do whatever you want to do, and as long as you put the work in, you can get there.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Wow. So we're going to move slightly on and ask you one thing, talk about money slightly, because it's a money channel. Of course, we want to hear about your personal finances. So how would you describe your relationship with money, like right now, in terms of how would you describe that?
So I am definitely someone who doesn't have So I have like quite an abundance mindset in everything that I do. So I always think that, you know, things are going to come to me. I'm very much a believer in like the law of attraction. So I do believe that things are going to come, but I also believe that you do have to spend money on things. I don't just like get money and hold on to it. You know, if I need to invest in things, I will invest in them for my business. I do invest in like financial things like stocks and shares. Ever since I was a kid, my grandpa, ever since I was literally from when I can remember, he used to talk to us about shares and, you know, get us to understand that.
Wow.
I'm interested in, I actually love watching like your channel and other finance channels and finding ways to invest and different things like Bitcoin, for example, something I'm interested in, and I'm definitely one that likes to invest my money, but also I really do not like debt. I actually hate it. I wouldn't take out a loan to buy random stuff, you know, and I know that people do that, you know, like if I've got a laptop, my laptop's fine until if I need to get a new one, I can buy a new one. I'll always try and find stuff that's secondhand. That is like across the board.
Wow, you sound really grounded. So we were actually going to ask you this question because it's a very important one.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned your grandparents.
So you kind of answered our questions, but we wanted to ask you, like, what do you think you've learned about money growing up from your parents? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to hear about your granddad and how much that kind of shaped your money kind of decisions today.
Mindset as well.
And mindset, yeah. So it'd be interesting to know how that has been with your parents too.
So my mum has always said, you know, don't do things just for money. So I think that has also shown me that money isn't like the be all and end all. You know, my parents were never money driven and they're not flashy at all or anything like that. And my mum really like, you know, I don't know how you describe it. You know, she's very like good with money, I guess.
Really fantastic that you've learned a lot from your parents. I mean, we've certainly learned a lot from our parents.
Yes.
And without the things that we've learned from our parents, like there's no way we'd be where we are today.
Yeah, totally.
And it's interesting. We've made other videos, by the way, for guys who are watching. We did one about, you know, would you date someone with a poor money mindset? If you've not seen that video, I'm going to put in the links below and above. Head over and watch that.
Yes.
It's a good one to watch, isn't it?
We also did a what's your financial blueprint?
Yeah.
Also a good video for you to watch.
Yeah, we'll put that in the comments. Now, just to ask you, Vanessa, just so you make all this money, as people do, and so on. What exactly? Where does most of your money actually end up going to in a month? You know, what sort of things do you spend on, and how do you treat yourself as well? You know, you can't just work all the time. You must surely have times when you need to pamper yourself and kind of do things that just, you know, for self-care maybe.
Yeah, so I'd say like a big chunk goes to private school for my kids. You know, like there's nothing I'd rather spend my money on, if you know what I mean, than like the education for my kids. And then there's also my kids' classes or whatever activities that they want to do. And then a lot of money goes on food. We have an issue, like an addiction to Deliveroo.
Tell us the issue. Let's hear it.
Yeah, we eat at Deliveroo. Like, honestly, if I told you, it's pretty much every single day. It's so bad. We need to curb it.
Come on, you've got to put that into numbers. You can't just say it like that and just leave us hanging.
For real.
How much are we
actually
talking
couldn't
about?
tell
How
you.
much are you guys?
What are we talking?
Spill the beans. How
What's
much are you
the
spending?
damage?
Exactly.
I couldn't tell you. Like, one thing I'm not is very organised. So I don't actually know how much I spend per month on food and all that stuff. I only know like how much I spend on the bills that come out, exactly those, but all these little bits, I never actually count it up.
Yeah. Do you guys? Does that mean to me then that you guys don't do like a budget and stuff like that?
Yeah, we don't have a budget. It's something I want to change. I think I recently started a limited company, and now the money that I'm making for the company, I'm kind of just like keeping it within the company. Whereas before, because I was a sole trader, it was coming into my account. It was all a bit more like wishy-washy, and then by the time it comes for the tax, you know. So now I'm very much seeing it as something separate from myself. So I think that's really helping in terms of like budgeting, because I'm not just like spending everything. Not that I'd do that, but you know, it's separate from my life.
Interesting you mentioned that. I'm quite curious about that idea of not having a budget. So do you find that as you've made more money then, you spent more as well? Is that kind of how things have kind of transpired over time?
So in terms of like investments for the business, like cameras, that sort of thing, yeah, I've bought better cameras the more money I've made. But in terms of like spending outside, I'd say I actually spend less. I don't like spending money. And I think that's the thing with Deliveroo. They make it so, not that it's essentially one app or another, but they make it so easy for you not really to realise how much you're spending on there. Like, they don't give you like a monthly breakdown, you know what I mean?
You should get them to come and sponsor your channel, you know, because you spend so much money with them.
I know,
right? Yeah, we don't really have a budget, but I don't feel like I spend more the more money I make, because I don't really like spending money. Full stop.
Can you think about a financial mistake you made growing up, maybe in your teenage years, or maybe, you know, in your early 20s? Something that you look back on and you think, wow, like that was a big financial mistake, and what did you learn from that, maybe?
I think probably in terms of tax and accounting, I think that not keeping good records from the start is a big mistake, because it just takes so much time. And I feel like I did that year on year for so many years. I mean, I've been self-employed since 2010, so it's been like 11 years now. And I feel like I did that for a good 6 years, like, you know, kind of just not keeping track. And then it comes to near the end and I have to look through all these receipts that are just in a pile, you know, and so I think that's probably a big I wouldn't say as a mistake, it's like a learning, but I think that that's really something that's taken a lot of my effort.
What would you say to someone now who maybe runs a side hustle or maybe wants to start a business? Like, what should they be doing? Like, what did you do to almost flip that such that you're becoming a bit more organized? What changed exactly?
I'm not like sponsored by any of these things, but QuickBooks honestly has like changed the game for me, because everything goes through that. So, you know, you put in your account details and then all the different things that you've spent come up, and then you can allocate that and you can add the receipts to that. And you can also, you know, put your invoices through that, so you know when you're being paid. Up until a few months ago, I couldn't tell you when somebody was due me money, but with QuickBooks, like, it tells you when you're due money and things like that. So it's just like a good thing.
It's so powerful, actually. Yeah, because we tell lots of people, and we've noticed this with many people who run small businesses, even family members who run small businesses who have struggled with just knowing, like, how much have they made this year? How much have they really spent?
Yeah.
Like, who's owing them money? I think that's the biggest one. Like, what bills have people not paid you in terms of collecting money for work that you've done? And just keeping up. So we always talk about, we use Xero, which is very similar to QuickBooks, and we also recommend FreshBooks. It's another one that's actually coming into the UK market. It's another one that's quite similar to QuickBooks. In fact, they've actually sponsored our channel a few times, so we work with them now and again. But you know, these do the same thing, which is what you're saying. Really, they give you back a lot of your life back financially in a way.
Yes.
Just stops you making terrible mistakes.
Exactly, especially when you don't have the time to be on top of it as much. It helps you to be that much more organized with your finances. What would you say is your ultimate financial goals, Vanessa?
Big question, that one.
A huge goal for me was to make £5,000 a month. Obviously, I've just smashed that goal, and that seemed like such a huge goal for me, you know, when I set it, and that was a goal for me for years. And so the next goal, I've not really thought about it, but I guess what I really want to do is build a house in Ghana. So it's to make enough money to be able to do that, to be able to travel with my family when we want to travel and live like a very comfortable life. And I don't know what that would take. Probably like 200,000 in a year would be amazing.
Pounds?
Pounds.
Yeah.
Well, probably dollars, to be honest.
$200,000 to actually buy the land and build a house and stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah, so I think to buy land, build a house could be done in like 100,000 to 150,000, but then like a living expenses as well off the back of that.
Wow.
Well, no doubt you'll be documenting that process, right, on your
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah, so I will be documenting the whole house build process and buying the land and everything once I've found the right place.
That
You know what?
sounds exciting.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
I've got to say, that is so exciting. And we're looking forward to just seeing it. You know, we
Exactly.
love your
Can't
channel,
wait.
obviously. We're going to keep watching, and
Yes.
we recommend that people head over to Vanessa Kanbi's channel. Go and check it out. If you haven't checked it out already, she does an amazing job of just telling a different story of West Africa, specifically Ghana. But I'm sure Vanessa's going to be looking around other parts of West Africa probably.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Nigeria in a couple of weeks. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Awesome.
So head over and check her out. It's been
Yes.
fantastic speaking to you, Vanessa.
Absolutely amazing.
And we continue to learn from each other, and
Yeah.
you know, it's been great just getting to know you as part of doing YouTube. So
Yes.
and it's interesting that you're back here talking to people about how, you know, you've been making significant leaps in your life doing YouTube. So thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
We wish you all the best with your ventures, and also the house building. Keep us updated. Definitely love to follow you up on that. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on our first ever series on how much do they make.
Awesome. Take care, Vanessa.
Take
care.
care.
Take care, everybody. Speak
Bye.
soon.
Take
And see you in
care.
our next
Bye.
video.
Bye.
Bye.